On last week's episode, we talked about your big butt. Here on episode 2, we'll give you some strategies on how to kiss your big butt or butts goodbye.
Information, inspiration, motivation for the modern musicpreneur.
Time to start your week right.
Here it comes, Music Marketing Monday, with your host, Bob Baker,
Mr. Buzz Factor,
and Billy Gryzak.
the music marketing mind.
Ready? Are you sure?
Set.
Here it comes. Swing, baby.
All right, well, welcome back to episode 2 of Music Marketing Monday. That's right, we're going to get you your week started off right, kick-started, and this is part 2 of something we talked about a little bit earlier. I am one of your hosts here, Billy Gryzak, the Music Marketing Mind, and on the other side of the microphone is...
Bob Baker. I'm the founder of thebuzzfactor.com, author of the Guerrilla Music Marketing Handbook, and a bunch of other really official-sounding things like that, Billy.
Way cool, way cool. Well, I'll tell you, we had so much fun doing this last week, we decided to do it again. And
it just occurred to me that since we plan on making this a weekly show, it's kind of nice that a week later we came out with episode 2. That's forming a pattern here.
You know, we should maybe go to 3 next, what do you think?
To see how long we can... No, we plan on doing this indefinitely, and so it was so much fun, right?
It is fun, man. It is fun. Anyway, last week we talked about your big butt, and of course, big butt is what is it, Bob? What is the big?
It's the excuses that you use, not the B-U-T-T rear end butt. In case you didn't listen to it, well, we're not making fun of anyone's physical shape necessarily. We're talking about your mental hurdles, the things that are holding you back. Like, I would be more successful in music, but I've got, whatever follows that phrase is something that you're carrying around that's holding you back. We all have them, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I've struggled with my big butt for many years, and and so what we did was we reached out to our listeners and our community at the Music Marketing Mind Facebook group, and we got some replies, some responses, some input, and I'd like to share that with everybody before the show here.
Even though we covered a lot of the big butts last week, and we kind of ran through a list, I mean, there are even more, and it was amazing how much this resonated with so many people, and they were willing to step forward and admit that they, too, carry this stuff around in their heads. So what were some of the responses you got in the forum there?
Right. Well, one of the ones I thought was really interesting, kind of a running theme with many different people, was the big butt was the day job, believe it or not. Ross Barber from Electric Kiwi and Wade Sutton from Reach for the Stars both shared that as, it's like that old saying, you can't steal second base with your foot on first, Right. And they felt that their job actually was holding them back. Having a day job, the security of an income didn't give them the urgency that they needed, or they were just scared to leave the security of a steady paycheck.
I guess the way that ties into the big butt is that, I would pour more energy into my music career now, but I got this day job, and I got to kind of hang in there with it. And one of these days, I'm going to be able to do more with music. And so it's like an excuse. I guess that's the way that formulates in your head.
Exactly. And it's funny because in my life, I've worked without a net for years. I just... basically, when one career comes to an end, I don't really have a fallback plan. So whatever I get into, like when I got into children's music, I literally, in a matter of 3 months, went from, being nobody to being like one of the top, most seen and booked performers in my area, because I had no choice. If I didn't go out and get jobs, I couldn't feed my family and would have to live in the car, and that's not good.
I think even Wade referenced that, too. He was saying that he was let go of his job, and that would definitely force you to take action, and now he's pouring all his energy into his music business. I am actually, I'm celebrating this month 10 years since the last time I was employed by someone else with a day job, and I did not get let go from that job. I put in my notice because I had built up my book, income and so on, to the point where I could do that and feel good about about it and support my daughter in all this stuff. But luckily, I did not get comfortable. I mean, I always knew that day gig in the corporate world was just a a little rest stop in my life, and no matter how comfortable it might have seemed, I wasn't going to stay there. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a great plus to have an income. I mean, we all need to make money. But sometimes, it's really hard to take chances, get out there and do things, when you have that. So
yeah.
it's scary, and it is a butt, and that could be your big butt. I don't know exactly where you are exactly. Another thing that was kind of interesting, too, several people mentioned that I referenced in the first episode that, my weight was always an issue. My appearance, I felt, was an issue, and it kept me from going as far as I probably could have. And Jimmy, how do you pronounce his last name? You know Jimmy, right?
I do know Jimmy, and I don't want to butcher it, so let's just call him Jimmy for right now.
Yeah, well, I'll butcher it. It's okay. Jimmy Yamagashi. That sounds good. Okay. Anyway, who runs a. Well, he's a big time singer songwriter.
SongNet, I think, in L.A. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, SongNet. Yeah. It's I think it's the songnet.org. Yeah, that's what they are. And he's an Oriental fella, and he's a little older now. And sometimes people look at those as being negatives, and you have no control over your age or your overall, your ethnicity or whatever. So if some people look at those as negatives, like I looked at my weight as a negative, or like Bruce Springsteen, for instance. He had a horrible voice when he sang covers back when I lived in Jersey. They wouldn't hire his band unless he got another lead singer. But they said, it's okay to sing your songs because you sound good singing your songs. So
nobody has anything to compare them to, right?
So basically, you take your negatives and you turn them into positives. Or like Jimmy says, if you can't fix it, feature it.
Yeah, I usually see Jimmy almost every year out at the Taxi Road rally, and so we know each other. We had a conversation just last November where he shared this with me, and that actually comes from the tech world or the software world, when you can't fix a particular issue, with your then let's find a way to put a positive spin on it, and I think that's brilliant. Yeah, make it part of your identity. If like a lot of artists will hide the fact that they're independent or refer to themselves as an unsigned artist or something, which I think is kind of odd. But embrace your independence, make that part of your public identity, and be proud of it instead of trying to hide it or whatever it is. And then another thing, Billy, let's see what you think about this. When your butts have to do with things that you can't change, like your age, like your ethnicity, that's really self-defeating because there's no way to change that. So you have to embrace it. You have no other choice.
Well, I mean, real quick, off the top of your head, how many bands do you know of one-armed drummer? Go.
I could think of one.
Yeah, and I mean, that became, I'm sorry the guy lost his arm and everything, but it became just another thing that was recognizable with the band, and he became an inspiration to people, with that are otherwise, challenged in some way, and it didn't become a limitation anymore. It became a feature. It became, something awesome. Patty Hunter, who's a songwriter, dealt with shyness issues, and she had issues with some other things, and she ended up joining groups that help people with problems like that, and found other people that shared her political views. And when she got to that point, she found that she was so passionate that she wasn't shy anymore. You know what I mean? So,
right. Yeah.
And she found her voice. So turning all these butts around into positive features and bonuses, so it can be done. It absolutely can be done. And before we move on, I know we like to get people to take action here, and we gave people some homework, and you actually brought something really cool to the table today. And I don't want to spend too much more time on this because I want to get to this special information that you want to share. But about you going and being independent full-time for 10 years. I've been, over 30 years. Right. Music has been my business. That's all I've done, whether it's live shows or songwriting or, whatever it took, I did it. Maybe I didn't play in the kind of band I wanted. Maybe I didn't do originals. Maybe I had to do weddings for a while. But I always made my living in music. So anybody out there that says you can't make a living. I would do music for a living, but there's no money in it. Not true.
Right, and that's another thing. And why this is a topic for another show. But a lot of people, I think, confuse two different things. One, there's making a living from music, and so a lot of people go, "I want to make my living from music," and they think they got to do it from album sales and live gigging and all those things that musicians do. But really, a better question is, how can I be self-employed doing stuff that I want to do? And so that might mean you have to teach, you have to run sound, you have to play the wedding gigs, be in a cover band, and work on your originals on the side for a while. But it's like doing whatever you have to do. So where you're an independent contractor, doing your own thing, but you're self-employed, making your own hours. It's okay to have a part-time job or even a day job for a while. You have to do those things at some point. But the goal should be to be self-employed first. Not necessarily make a living doing a specific thing, or specific revenue streams.
And it's also not always just about money either. I mean, you could say, I would, get out there, but. And it's not about money. It's just, but, I don't sing very well, or,
right.
But nobody's interested in songs about baby seals. I don't know. I'm just riffing.
Right, or I'm too shy, or yeah,
exactly. And we're not even talking about money here, folks. We're just talking whatever your big butt is that keeps you from going to the next level or going where you want to go. You just need to identify that butt, what we've done here today, and then move on. So moving on.
Yeah. So last week we had the homework was to identify what your butts are, what the specific things that you're using, whether you're speaking to other people inside your head that are holding you back. This this week, we're going to be kissing your big butt goodbye. So here's some strategies, on how to eliminate them or at least reduce them so that you can move forward. And so, I became aware of the work of Byron Katie. She's an author and a speaker, and she has a number of books out, like Loving What Is and a few other things. It's a woman that I used to be like really frustrated and difficult, and she had this transformation. I don't know that she reached rock bottom in her life and suddenly came out of it with this whole new attitude, and she's been sharing kind of the wisdom of that transformation for the last couple of decades. But she has this thing that's just referred to as the work, and it's really a simple list of 4 questions that you can ask yourself when you come up with a limiting belief like what we're talking about. So real quickly, in the remaining time, I'd like to just go through these 4, and we can make this the homework is to go through these 4 questions with whatever butts you have identified of the ones that you're using. And so the first question you ask yourself is it true? I mean, you say this stuff, you repeat it over and over again, but is it like, and I'll just use I don't have enough money to really effectively promote myself and build my career, whether it's part-time or full-time or whatever. Let's just use that as an example. Is it really true that that's what's holding you back?
Well, actually, even better when the money, though, is the Bruce Springsteen thing. Nobody likes my voice.
Oh, yeah. So, nobody. Okay, so let's go ahead and use that. Nobody likes my voice, but I would be more successful, but nobody likes my voice. Well, is that true? And you ask yourself, well, yeah, a lot of people say I suck, and then you can ask a follow-up question. Can you absolutely know for certain that that's true? And then you might think, well, there was one guy. My mom likes my voice. There are probably some people like Bob Dylan. There's Bruce Springsteen. Maybe I have a chance. So you start to really question whether how solid that thing, that excuse that you're using truly is. And when you really examine it under a microscope, you'll find out that's kind of flimsy. And you realize, well, there are exceptions. Maybe it isn't totally true. Especially with the money thing. God, there's so many free ways to promote yourself. I just have to put in a little time instead of money. Okay. And then the third question is, how do you react, or what happens when you believe that thought? So when you really ingrain that but thought, how does it affect how you show up in the world? And I think you quickly realize that if I'm carrying around I don't have enough money, or I have a voice that nobody likes, you're going to realize it stunts your growth. Well, of course, I'm not really fully in my power. I feel like a victim.
And you become a self-fulfilling prophecy because you believe it, and you start programming your brain. There's no way I'm going to get a gig with this voice. There's no way anybody's going to pay me money to do this.
Right. So when you have conversations with people who you were places where you're going to book, how are you going to show how enthusiastic, how confident are you going to be?
Exactly.
With a thought like that in your head, so you realize that this is doing damage to you. It's not serving you, and you're starting to realize, it's not really real anyway. And so the fourth and most powerful question then is, who would you be without that thought?
Oh my gosh.
If you could not eliminate it, but if you could just put it in its rightful place, as this is a thought that, thank you for reminding me about, my situation, but really this is not serving me, go away or go sit in the corner. If you could sort of remove that from your your operating system, I guess, if you will, how would you then show up? And you start to realize, well, I'd probably be more confident, more empowered, more positive, and quickly realize you can make more progress if you could live your life without that being the overriding, thought that or the belief system that's powering you. And so it's real simple. Again, they are. Is it true? And if you're, stubbornly, yes, it is. Ask yourself, can you absolutely be certain that it is true? Then how do you react? How do you show up in the world? What happens when you believe a thought like that is the third question. And then how would you be without the thought? If you really answer all those questions honestly, you'll realize this is really stupid for me to hang on to this thing.
Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do this then. One of the really powerful things about podcasting is they have this thing called the pause switch. So what we'll do right now is, unless you're driving, and I hope you are driving, listening to these podcasts with the band, because it'd be so great. Do whatever you normally do, but take 15 minutes out on your trip to the next gig and say, hey guys, we're just going to listen to this for 15 minutes. That'd be really cool. But if you're not driving, hit pause when I say, go get yourself a pen, pencil, paper, or a tablet, whatever you do, and we're just going to repeat these real quickly for you here so you can write them down. So on the count of three, hit pause. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, pause.
That's my pause music.
I like that. Okay. All right, so here we go. You pause, we're back, and Bob, I'm going to say the numbers. You ask the questions nice and slowly so they can write them down. Ready? Question number 1.
Is it true?
Beautiful. Question number 2.
And this is mainly if you answer yes to that first question. Otherwise, you can skip this one. But if you're still clinging to the yes, it's true, can you absolutely know for certain that it's true? Really examine it.
Can you absolutely know for certain that it is true? Excellent. Question 3.
How do you react? What happens? It's kind of there's a lot of words here. Or how do you show up in the world when you believe that thought? So you can paraphrase that to make it shorter. But
so how do you show up in the world when you believe that thought? Question mark. All right. And number 4.
Who would you be without that thought?
Who would you be without that thought? So that's your homework, folks. And I'll tell you what, we actually gave you a hashtag last week that we are throwing out. We're putting in the garbage can because we found out someone else was using it. We have a brand new hashtag. And drum roll, please.
It's real simple. It's hashtag MusicMM. So it stands, of course, for Music Marketing Monday. But that one is not being used. The other one was. So just hashtag MusicMM, all one word, no spaces. And use that on Twitter. And that's where you can follow the conversations about the shows.
Absolutely. And if you'd like to join the Music Marketing Mind Facebook group, just find us under groups, Music Marketing Mind, and request to join the group. You can get more than 150 characters or whatever it is they give you on Twitter. All of our comments today actually came from Facebook. That was really nice. You can also find me at Music Market Mind on Twitter, or at www.musicmarketingmind.com. Bob, where can we find you?
TheBuzzFactor.com. TheBuzzFactor.com. Got a blog. This years and years of blog posts and podcasts and video clips. And I have a free report called Music Marketing Secrets that you can download along with a couple of other goodies. And you can find a link to that on just about every page. And I'd be happy to send you those free gifts if you're not already on my email list. And and I'll be sharing just a new interview with Jack Conti of Pomplamoose that I just posted that I can let you know about. There'll probably be a blog post about it soon on the site, but that's really exciting.
Man, that dude really inspires me. Oh, speaking of inspiration, I Just got to tell you, man, I listened to your interview with Derek Sivers.
Yeah, that was really he was the 20th interview that I did, and he went from the 0 views and listens to like the second most watched or viewed in the series within less than a week. Is amazing.
Yeah, I found that one totally inspired. I listened to it more than once, to be honest with you. All right, well, listen, we are over time. We usually try to go about 15 minutes or so. I think we're at like 25 minutes right now. So I know you have some more interviews to do. I've got some more recording and interviews to do today. So we want to see everybody back here next Monday. Make sure you do your homework. Send it to us. You know where to send it. We gave you all the information. Rewind if you missed it. And I think we're done here.
I think we are too. We'll come back with probably another related topic. There's so many tangents we could go on here. Maybe about being more comfortable with music marketing, since that's what this is about, Music Marketing Monday. When we'll get back into the actual marketing specific topic.
Sounds great. Sounds great. In fact, let's just do it right now. Let's just talk about the necessary evil. I think that's a great topic. You had mentioned that to me as maybe a topic. You want to do that then?
Yeah, we'll do that and getting more comfortable with it if you feel like most musicians don't, and so that's what we'll cover next week. We're just making it up as we go here.
That's right, man. We're kind of like the car talk of music marketing.
I like that because you definitely have a laugh like one of those guys. I think is wonderful.
Listen, I think this is the best thing ever because all of these music marketing people, except for you, take themselves too damn seriously. And you know what, man? We're in the business of making people smile and feel good. And you know what? Let's just keep doing that. You know what I'm saying?
We should probably make this part of the show.
Sounds great, man. All right, everybody. I'm Billy Gryzak.
I'm Bob Baker.
And we'll see you next week. Bye-bye now.
So long.